A few weeks ago, the developers at Innersloth released a preview of the new Among Us map, Airship. This map is huge, almost 3 times the size of their original maps. I instantly wondered, what would this map look like in Minecraft? In this video, I answered that question. I built Among Us, the Airship, in Minecraft. Before we begin, let me remind you to subscribe. In an upcoming video, I'm going to make this map playable with command blocks and provide a world download. So be sure to have your notifications on for that. Anyways, enjoy! And now, condensing about 8 hours into a 2-minute time lapse. Let's see how this goes.
Seven hours later.
I hope you guys enjoyed that time lapse because this took a very, very long time. But it's done now and I'm very happy with how this turned out. You guys are going to really enjoy this, so let me show you what exactly I've made and all of the rooms because there are a ton. I'll pop up a map right now so you can see exactly how massive this thing is. You saw some of the time lapse, but that's only a small portion of it. There's a lot of building that went into it, a lot of hours, but now I've finally finished and I'm going to show you guys around. So starting in here where we did the intro is the cockpit area where the pilot or the driver, whoever, and all the crewmates and assistants will come in here and pilot their ship. This is a very big open room, which is kind of a problem because you can sort of see everything. So I'm going to have to do some work in part 2 video on covering some of this up, maybe making more of an exterior, an outer shell to. Oh, I don't want to do any more building, but let's head inside. So, going down this hallway into electric, we first have 2 rooms on either side of us. We have a communication room. This is sort of like the communication room in the Skeld, kind of. Maybe because it's more of a direct area, this will actually be used more and gone into more, unlike the Skeld. But maybe not. I'm not really sure. But anyways, let's head into the armory. The armory has a bunch of bows and colored arrows to symbolize weapons. There's not really anything good to symbolize it in Minecraft other than this. And I think this turned out alright. This is pretty close to how the layout is in the actual game. Kind of weird, but I mean, it's just another room. It's another nice room for the airship. A room that's not in any of the other maps, in fact. But let's head into electrical, because this was the first big room that I undertook when making this. This room is massive, as you can tell. Might be the biggest room in the entire airship. This is so big, you even fit a crane in it. There's actually a crane in the actual Among Us map, which is quite cool. But we're going to drop down here. And yeah, this is a nice little room. I like how this turned out a lot. This is going to be where you fix the engines and all that stuff. So now we have two options, but I think we're going to head to the left. So left here is where this little hallway is, as well as this hallway. Lots of hallways, but you might recognize this room from some of the screenshots. This is the vault. The vault has like this red gem. This is the best I could do to symbolize it. A pile of gold here, some artifacts, and not much else. Honestly, this room is kind of empty, but this just adds a lot more to the map. I think this room actually looks very nice in the actual Among Us, as well as the Minecraft version that I've made here. We'll be able to look at the gap room later, which is a very cool room, or it will be, once I add some redstone to this thing. But right now, we're going to head back to the engine and to the main hall, a big portion of this place. And the main hall consists of tons of bedrooms. As you can see, I'll fly through these very quickly. Down this hallway, you'll see bedrooms, some sort of washing room here, bedroom. This, I really didn't get this room, but it was just there. I don't really understand it. It's the Crimson room. We have like a bath or something, maybe another washing room. And that brings us to the end of the hallway where we can enter electrical as well as the showers. So we're going to start with the showers here. The showers, pretty basic, just a shower room here, little locker room here with a bunch of lockers. I actually use the back of looms to represent the lockers, which I think looks real nice. And we can see that down there is going to be a study. But for right now, let's check out, we can look at the study. The study is on the other side of that, the gap room, which I'm going to show you in a bit. That's going to be very cool with some redstone. And this is just a bunch of books, a table. This isn't actually the emergency meeting. The emergency meeting room has something to do with that over there, but I'll show you that later. So let's jump down here and head back over here. But wait, we can't, because this is ventilation. This ventilation room is an inaccessible room that just makes a gap between here. We can't get over there. There'll be barrier blocks, so you can't fall down there either. And yeah, this is just a little bit of separation for two different rooms. The study leads us right into the lounge room, which has some pool tables as well as targets and chairs. Not too much to this room, but I like how it turned out. I like the block scheme a lot. I would actually build with these blocks here. And this actually brings us right into the toilets. The toilet room, very basic. Just some stalls with toilets in them. Trapdoors, buttons, all that stuff. But very basic. I textured the walls a little bit, unlike most of the place, but I think it was just too much of a pattern. So I just broke it up, and I think it turned out alright. And this leads into possibly my favorite room of the whole place. Minus maybe the gap room we're going to see. And this is storage. Storage, you can try or look at parkouring, or just admire the many barrel types that I made. I like the diversity in wood, and I think this is probably one of my favorite rooms, as I said. But not too much to this. Honestly, it's just a big room, bunch of crates, and windows, and this thing. The golden vault. What does it do? They don't know. And up here, this is just the other connection to the other side of this ventilation shaft. And we can also head into here, which is medbay. So medbay is very different from the original Among Us scaled and stuff like that. But it's still here. We got a scale. Over there was a waiting room that we just passed. And right up here, some beds, some stretchers, stuff like that. And this leads us right past here into electrical. Electrical is quite complex of a room. There's not too much to these rooms. Just redstone wiring everywhere, flickering lights occasionally with redstone lamps, which gives it a nice little effect. And you'll get lost in these hallways of electrical. It's very windy. Some of the doors are permanently closed, so it's kind of difficult to navigate. But I think this turned out really nice. I like this room a lot. Now, if we can find our way out, I should know how to get out. I built it. There's this little like intersection room into this hallway here. So when I was building this, obviously everything doesn't scale up perfectly. So sometimes I have things like this where there's just a random gap that I can't like put anything here. So I just add a nice little hallway. And this leads us right into security. You'll be able to, once I finish this, you'll be able to actually use security cameras. But for now, just like a little basic little security thingy. And it looks alright. This also leads us to the outside, where we can see the outside of the ship here. Obviously, it's meant to only be an interior, not an exterior. And we can head down the wall of portraits, I think they called it. This is just a room with a bunch of Among Us characters, like Angel, and these aren't Among Us characters, are they? Oh. And now, the kitchen. The kitchen has an ugly wallpaper, as well as a bunch of food on the table. That's about it, honestly. Some sinks, some ovens, whatever they're called. And this leads into the task room, or whatever this is called. This room just leads to the outside. It has spaces for tasks. That's it. I don't know why this room is here, but it is. So, great. But this loops right back around to the armory, so we're back where we started, essentially. Now, there is one last room, as I said. The last room is... Actually, there's more rooms in this room. This is the gap room. The gap room cannot be crossed unless you ride this thing. This is a little hover cart thingy that will be able to transport you across the room. For now, before the redstone, you can't do that, but this is going to be a very cool feature, and this is actually in the Among Us map. As you can see in this footage here, there is actually this in the real game, or going to be in the real game, and it's very, very cool. I can't wait for this to be in the game. But one more feature that was added in this update that is only in this room are ladders. There are now going to be ladders in Among Us, and conveniently, Minecraft already has ladders. So I was able to just put some there for that little tiny killing chamber down there, and over here to get up to the emergency meeting button. So up here is the meeting room. This is quite hard to find, so I think I'm going to put some signs directing you towards it. But this is the emergency meeting room. There'll be a fully working emergency meeting button right here. You'll be able to press it. There's a few tasks up here. And I think this is going to be quite cool. And I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you're excited for episode 2, where I'm going to release this for a download, as well as finish the redstone commands, add-ons, stuff like that, let me know in the comments below. I hope you guys all enjoyed today. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.